Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Tesla, and here we have been tracking all along on this large time frame this double 1-2-1-2 setup, and the question that we cannot answer just yet but we are tracking is if this wave 2 actually bottomed here, which would be in the white scenario, or if we are still developing this wave 2 in orange, in which we would track the red interpretation where we completed here an A wave down, a B wave up that overshot, and then a C wave to the downside that would have already started. Now, without assuming too much about this, we are tracking both scenarios, so we don't need to. And here to the upside in the white interpretation, we are tracking what would be a diagonal pattern. It could be a leading diagonal or an ending diagonal. Now, despite the fact that we completed a double 1-2 setup here in orange, so 1-2-1-2, we would be expecting a third wave to follow. Well, this is clearly not happening in this exact movement because this is a diagonal structure, meaning the wave 1 has an ABC pattern. The wave 2 also has an ABC pattern. The wave 3 also has an ABC pattern. So as you can see, we are not really tracking any 5-wave movement in this area, at least not motive waves. The fourth wave could be a triangle, but that is not very relevant. And the idea is that the third wave cannot be a diagonal pattern, meaning that either this development in white would be a leading diagonal in a wave 1 that would then get another 1-2 setup to follow, or it could be an ending diagonal, but then we would have to consider that instead of having a double 1-2-1-2 setup, we would instead be tracking a 1-2-3-4 and a fifth to complete a larger 5-wave move, completing a wave 1. Now, the issue with that is that we didn't actually even get to the next level past the 100% extension of the wave 1, and ideally in the third wave we would actually get to the 138.2% extension. We didn't even reach the previous level, so the chances of that happening seem pretty slim, and I wouldn't find this the most probable scenario, this idea that this is a fifth wave developing to the upside. So in the white interpretation, I am rather tracking another wave 1. Now, so far in this time frame, we had the two scenarios that we mentioned, the red and the white, that we are tracking simultaneously. One is bearish, one is bullish, of course. And here we have our wave 1 up, wave 2 down, and then in the third wave so far, we have completed an A wave up, and then this would be the B wave to the downside that would then be followed by another C wave that would complete in a 5-wave move pattern. Now, if you are paying close attention to this area, you may see that we actually reached the retracement levels and reacted strongly to both scenarios, both the 61.8% retracement in white created multiple reversals in this area, and one of them even creating this large movement that pushed it all the way to the 61.8% retracement in red, which then again rejected it once here, again, and now once again recently. Was it today? Yeah, it seems so. And yeah, the idea is that the market is still undecided on what route this chart shall take, and since that is the case, we aren't going to make any assumptions. We are instead going to track both interpretations. And here I would say that for a wave C in the white interpretation, the ideal target is normally the 100% extension of the wave A, and in this case it would be at around $750 level. Now, depending on how it develops, it may overshoot that level or not even reach it, but that is the ideal target. And on the flip side, where we are looking at the red interpretation and assuming that this wave 2 actually topped here, we would be looking at an ideal target at the 138.2% extension at around $118 level. Now, since we have been tracking this area, we had quite a few developments and it is not the easiest chart and area to read within it clearly. Like, I mean, if we look at the previous structures that we had, it was pretty straightforward in these areas, I have to say. But in this case, it is not so much. And since we actually had some additional development recently, I would look at this with a slightly different count, at least in the white interpretation. And I would say that anyway, clearly, this is a diagonal that is developing to the upside in this wave 1. So here I would be looking here at wave 1, a wave 2, and then third wave up. And now I would actually consider this a fourth wave with a triangle that developed in it, where this was an A wave down, a B wave up, C wave, D wave, and the E wave. And as expected, this is a contracting triangle. We are now looking at the reversal, at the movement to begin in the opposite direction of the triangle ending. So the opposite direction of the wave E. So in this case, we are looking, instead of having a wave 1 complete here, a wave 1 that is not yet actually complete. And I would instead label this as such, but in white, where we are still looking to complete an overall fifth wave to the upside. Now, as I said, this would be a leading diagonal that we are mainly tracking. So here we are also looking for a 3-wave move to develop and complete this fifth wave and wave 1 altogether. Now we have already a 3-wave move, and we haven't even surpassed the previous stop that we formed. I would very likely consider that this could be a wave A that is developing, and then we would get a larger wave B and then another C wave to actually complete these movements. But we will have to actually wait and see that. So far, we are tracking this micro ABC structure that I think is developing in this area. Could turn into something a lot more bullish. I am not opposed to that. Could turn the overall structure into something more bullish. But I would say that within this ABC, we may need still one more 4-5 pattern to actually complete it, where I would be looking at this as a wave 1, a wave 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then the fifth wave to follow. So I would be looking at the support zone for a wave 4 between the levels at $346.4 down to around $336.6. Now, in the previous video, I think I provided you this support zone, but the structure was a lot more unclear. We were happy that we finally pushed past the previous high, so we stopped forming lower highs and higher lows, which is always a good sign in terms of a movement, a correction stopping. But yeah, we didn't have much structure. I think now it is a lot more clear now that we formed actually another higher high. And I would say, as I just mentioned, that this movement is still not over and that we are looking still for one more low and one more high in this area before we form a larger movement in an ABC to complete this wave 1. Now, this is not definitive. This structure is still highly volatile, highly unpredictable, but this is what I can see at the moment. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover. And I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.